Morrison gripped the heavy bag, his knuckles white against the worn leather. The rhythmic thuds of fists hitting canvas echoed through Phoenix Security's training room. Each impact carried the weight of memories he'd rather forget. A father's drunken rage, a mother's empty bedroom, years of learning to survive alone. "Hey, boss." Jake, one of his newer instructors, called from the doorway. "That new guy's here for the advanced combat course evaluation." Cole released the bag, unwrapping the tape from his hands. "Send him in." The man who walked through the door carried himself like a fighter, balanced, aware, ready. His easy smile contrasted with the calculating look in his eyes as he scanned the room. "Ryan Cooper," he introduced himself, extending his hand. "Heard good things about your program." Cole's grip was firm, professional. "Let's see if you live up to your reputation. Word is you're undefeated in the underground circuit." Ryan's grin widened. 15-0. "But there's always more to learn." They circled each other on the mats, testing defenses. Ryan's style was unconventional, explosive bursts mixed with fluid movement. Cole caught a wild hook, countered with a sweep that should have dropped his opponent. Instead, Ryan rolled with the momentum, transitioning into a lightning-fast combination that forced Cole to step back. "Not bad," Cole admitted, resetting his stance. "Where'd you train?" "Life," Ryan answered, moving in again. "Started in juvie, refined it on the streets. Added some formal training later." They continued sparring, the intensity building. Neither man giving ground, each reading the other's patterns, adapting. By the time they finished, both were breathing hard, sporting the beginnings of bruises, and grinning like teenagers. "You're hired," Cole said, tossing Ryan a towel. "Not just for the course, I want you teaching here. Your street experience combined with our tactical training could be valuable." Ryan's face lit up. "Seriously? Man, that would be perfect. Been looking for something more stable than just fighting." Over the next few months, their friendship grew beyond the gym. Late-night conversations over beers revealed shared experiences. Broken homes, fighting to prove their worth, searching for something real to hold on to. "You should meet Rachel," Ryan said one night, scrolling through his phone. "My best friend since forever. She's a photographer now, does these amazing shots of fighters. Been trying to convince her to document some of our training sessions." The phone screen showed a striking black and white image. A fighter mid-punch, muscles coiled, determination etched on his face. The composition captured both power and vulnerability. "She sees things differently," Ryan continued, his voice softening. "Known her since we were kids. Got each other through some rough times. Her parents' divorce hit her hard, but she turned that pain into art. Meanwhile, she helped me cope when Mom got sick. Small-town folks talked. You know how it is, but we didn't care." Cole studied another photo, this one showing a fighter after defeat, head bowed, hands still wrapped, telling a story of pride and loss. "She's got talent. Coming to shoot at the Underground next week. You should stop by." The Underground was housed in an abandoned warehouse, the kind of place that appeared empty from the outside but thrummed with energy within. Cole arrived early, watching the crowd filter in. Fighters, trainers, the regular mix of excitement seekers and betting men. He spotted her immediately. Rachel Wilson moved through the crowd like she was dancing, camera in hand, finding angles most people would miss. Her dark hair was pulled back in a messy bun, a few strands escaping to frame her face. She wore combat boots with her dress, practical but stylish, ready to move wherever the shot took her. Ryan made the introductions between matches. "Cole, meet the artist. Rachel, meet the guy who finally kicked my ass in training." "Someone had to." Rachel laughed, her eyes sparkling with mischief. Ryan's ego was getting dangerous. She turned to Cole. "Mind if I get some shots of your fighters tonight? I'm working on a series about the psychology of combat." "Only if I get to see the results," Cole replied. Rachel's camera clicked, catching him mid-sentence. "Deal." The night unfolded in a blur of fights and conversations. Cole found himself watching Rachel work as much as the matches. She moved with confidence, getting close to the action but never in the way, capturing moments others missed. The tension before a bell, the respect between opponents after a hard round, the quiet focus in the corners. She's something else, isn't she? Ryan appeared beside him, voice full of affection. Always known she'd do something special with her life. Cole nodded, unable to take his eyes off her. How long have you known each other? Since we were 8. Her family moved in next door. She caught me crying in the backyard after a bad day with my old man. Instead of making fun of me, she showed me her secret hideout in the woods. We've been inseparable ever since. Between matches, Rachel joined them, showing them shots on her camera's display. Her passion was contagious as she explained what she saw in each image. Cole found himself drawn into her perspective, seeing the beauty in moments he'd previously viewed only tactically. Want to grab coffee sometime? Cole asked as the night wound down. I'd love to hear more about your project. Rachel's smile lit up her face. Coffee sounds perfect, but I warn you, I take my art very seriously. Their first date stretched from coffee into dinner, then a midnight motorcycle ride along empty roads. Rachel wrapped her arms around his waist, her laughter carrying on the wind as they leaned into curves. They stopped at a viewpoint overlooking the city lights. Rachel pulled out her camera, capturing the urban constellations below. I love how cities look at night, she said, lowering the camera. All those lights telling different stories. Makes me wonder about the lives happening in each one. Cole watched her, fascinated by how she saw the world. What's your story? Still writing it, she replied, meeting his gaze. Small town girl who didn't fit in, using her camera to make sense of the world. Running from some things, chasing others. You? Learning to trust again, he said quietly. Building something meaningful out of a rough start. She touched his arm gently. Ryan told me some of it. About your dad. The foster homes. Ryan talks too much. He cares about you. Says you're one of the good ones. Their next date was at her studio, a converted industrial space filled with prints and equipment. Rachel showed him her current projects, including a series on fighters' hands. Look at these, she said, pointing to a print. The wraps, the scars, the way they hold themselves even at rest. Hands tell stories better than faces sometimes. Cole examined the image. You see beauty in the damage. I see beauty in survival, she corrected. In choosing to keep going, to make something of yourself despite the scars. Their relationship intensified quickly, both recognizing something in the other that they'd been searching for. Ryan celebrated their connection, often joining them for dinner or training, his presence a comfortable addition to their dynamic. Through Rachel, they met Marina and Jack Walsh. Marina owned the gallery where Rachel was planning her next show, her bold personality matching her artistic vision. Jack, a former boxer turned promoter, fit seamlessly into their fighting circle. You two are perfect together, Marina declared one night at dinner. The warrior and the artist, both seeing beauty in the fight. Jack raised his glass. To new friendships and good matches. Cole caught occasional moments, a look between Rachel and Ryan that lasted a beat too long. A private joke he wasn't part of, but dismissed them as the natural closeness of old friends. He was learning to trust, to believe in the family he was building. The proposal happened after a particularly successful fight night. Cole had been training a young prospect who won decisively, and Rachel captured the entire journey in her photographs. Marry me, he said as they reviewed the images in her studio. Be my partner in all of this. Rachel's camera clattered to the table. What? I love you. I love how you see the world, how you've helped me see it differently. I want to build a life with you. She launched herself into his arms, tears streaming down her face. Yes. God, yes. The wedding was small but perfect. Ryan stood as best man, his speech moving everyone to tears as he talked about destiny and true love. I've known Rachel most of my life, he said, voice thick with emotion. Watched her grow into this amazing woman. Cole, brother, you're the only man I'd trust with her heart. You two were meant to find each other. Cole embraced him after the speech. Thank you, man, for everything. Ryan hugged him back tightly. Just want you both to be happy. Their life settled into a comfortable rhythm. Cole's security business thrived, with Ryan helping to expand their training programs. Rachel's photography career bloomed under Marina's guidance, her shows drawing increasing attention in the art world. The pregnancy test changed everything. We're having a baby, Rachel whispered, showing him the positive result. We're going to be parents. Cole lifted her in his arms, spinning them around the kitchen. I love you so much. But as her belly grew, subtle changes crept in. Rachel joined what she called an artistic meditation group that met late at night. Her phone gained new passwords, her studio suddenly off limits. It's just pregnancy hormones, she said when he asked about the changes. And you know how protective artists are about works in progress. Cole tried to understand, to give her space. But the doubts grew, feeding on small moments. Rachel's disappearance during their anniversary dinner, the second phone he found hidden in her camera bag, the sound of her laugh from behind Ryan's closed apartment door. He was losing her, losing them both, and he didn't know why. Chapter 2. Fracture Lines. The first crack in their perfect life appeared on a Tuesday evening. Cole returned early from a training session, hoping to surprise Rachel with takeout from her favorite Thai place. The studio door was locked, unusual for that time of day. Rachel? He knocked, balancing the food bags. Got dinner. Shuffling sounds came from inside, followed by whispered voices. When Rachel finally opened the door, her cheeks were flushed, hair disheveled. You're early, she said, blocking the doorway. I'm in the middle of something. Thought we could eat together. Haven't seen much of you lately. Her hand rested protectively on her growing belly. Can we do it later? This project, it's complicated. Needs my full attention. Behind her, Cole glimpsed covered canvases, papers hastily shoved into drawers. Not the usual organized chaos of her workspace. Sure, he said, forcing a smile. I'll leave it in the kitchen. That night, he woke to find her side of the bed empty. The clock read 2:47 a.m. He found her in the living room, typing rapidly on her phone. Can't sleep? He asked. Rachel jumped, quickly locking the screen. Baby's active tonight. Didn't want to wake you. Who are you texting? Marina. She's in New York, different time zone. Cole nodded, not mentioning that he knew Marina was actually in town. He'd seen her at the gym that morning. The lies accumulated like dust, small but constant. Rachel's meditation group met 3 times a week now, always at odd hours. She'd return home with a strange energy about her, simultaneously guilty and defiant. During a routine cleaning, Cole found a receipt for a hotel room in her jacket pocket. When confronted, Rachel blamed pregnancy brain. Must have picked up someone else's receipt at the gallery, she said, not meeting his eyes. You know how scattered I've been lately. Ryan's behavior shifted too. The man who'd been like a brother grew distant, making excuses to avoid their training sessions. Other fighters reported seeing him at gyms across town, training intensely despite his claimed knee injury. One afternoon, Cole stopped by Ryan's apartment unannounced, wanting to clear the air. Rachel's distinctive laugh drifted through the door. When Ryan answered, he was alone, slightly out of breath. Just watching old videos, Ryan explained, running a hand through his mussed hair. From back home. Reminiscing, you know? Marina's comments became increasingly strange. During a gallery opening, she cornered Cole by the wine table. Childhood bonds are powerful things, she said, swirling her glass. Some connections never really break, no matter what comes between them. What are you trying to say, Marina? She smiled enigmatically. Just that love takes many forms. Some we choose, some choose us. Later that night, he overheard her on the phone, discussing a special photo shoot with someone whose name wasn't mentioned. When she saw him listening, she quickly ended the call. Jack's behavior was perhaps the most telling. The usually boisterous promoter grew quiet around Cole, avoiding eye contact and making excuses to leave whenever he arrived. At a fight night, Jack drank heavily, his guilt seemingly weighing on him. Cole, man, I need to tell you something. About Rachel Ann. Marina appeared suddenly, her hand gripping Jack's arm. Honey, you're drunk. Let's get you home. The look she gave her husband could have frozen fire. Cole's security training kicked in. He began noting patterns. Rachel's phone calls always came at specific times. Her meditation group meetings coincided with Ryan's new training schedule, and Marina's gallery was often locked during hours it should have been open. Their anniversary dinner became a turning point. Rachel wore a new dress, black with silver threads that caught the light. They were halfway through the main course when her phone buzzed. I have to take this, she said, already standing. Gallery emergency. Cole waited 5 minutes, then followed. He found her in the parking lot, mascara streaking her cheeks as she spoke intensely into a phone he'd never seen before. "You can't do this now," she was saying. "We had a plan." I know it's hard. Just stick to the timeline." She saw him and quickly ended the call. "That was my mother," she said, wiping her eyes. "She's trying to reconnect." Cole said nothing about the second phone he found later in her camera bag, hidden beneath spare batteries and memory cards. He didn't mention the text messages he glimpsed, desperate words about love and patience and promises. The pregnancy progressed, their baby growing while their marriage crumbled. Rachel's doctor ordered rest, but she seemed more active than ever, always rushing off to appointments Cole wasn't invited to attend. During a routine ultrasound, the technician asked about family medical history. Rachel's answers about Ryan's family, detailed knowledge of conditions and traits, raised questions she quickly dismissed. "We grew up together," she explained. "Practically siblings. You learn these things." The technician's raised eyebrow said more than words could. One night, unable to sleep, Cole found Rachel's journal in her studio. He stood for a long time, staring at it, fighting between respect for her privacy and the need to know. In the end, he left it unopened, clinging to the last threads of trust. Marina's gallery became a source of constant tension. Rachel spent more time there than at home, claiming she was preparing for a major show. But when Cole visited during these supposed planning sessions, the gallery was dark, mail piling up outside. "She's probably at the secondary location," Marina said when he asked. "We're expanding, you know." Very exciting times. The secondary location, Cole discovered, didn't exist. Ryan's apartment became another mystery. Deliveries arrived, art supplies, camera equipment, things Rachel would use. When questioned, Ryan shrugged it off. "Just storing some stuff for her," he said. "Her studio's getting crowded with the baby coming." But Cole had been to the studio. It was emptier than ever, as if Rachel was gradually moving her life elsewhere. The final month of pregnancy brought new complications. Rachel's doctor prescribed bed rest, but she seemed more agitated than ever. Her phone buzzed constantly with messages she'd hide from Cole's view. "Just the mommy group," she'd say, sharing pregnancy stories. But Cole saw the names when notifications popped up. Ryan's messages coming under different aliases, Marina coordinating something called Operation Freedom. The night everything fell apart started normally enough. They were having dinner, or rather, Cole was eating while Rachel texted under the table, when she suddenly doubled over, her phone clattering to the floor. Chapter 3. The Shattering. "Cole." Rachel's voice cracked with panic. "The baby. Something's wrong." He rushed to her side, helping her up. Her phone screen lit up with an incoming call from Gallery, Ryan's latest alias. "We need to get you to the hospital," Cole said, grabbing their pre-packed hospital bag. Rachel clutched her belly with one hand, the phone with the other. Her fingers flew across the screen as Cole helped her to the car. The message thread caught his eye. Its time followed by a string of responses he couldn't quite read. The drive to the hospital was tense. Rachel alternated between groans of pain and rapid texting, her face illuminated by the phone's blue glow. "Who are you messaging?" Cole asked, trying to keep his voice neutral. "Marina," Rachel said quickly. "She's alerting the gallery staff. Had an installation scheduled for next week." Another lie. Cole had seen Marina and Jack boarding a flight to Los Angeles that morning for a fighting event. The woman had waved to him across the terminal. They pulled into the hospital parking lot. Rachel's demeanor changed suddenly. Her pain seemed to subside as she spotted something through the windshield. Cole followed her gaze to a familiar figure sprinting toward the emergency entrance. "Ryan." "Perfect timing," Rachel whispered, then caught herself. "What did you say?" Her face contorted into a cruel smile he'd never seen before. "I said perfect timing. You can go now." "Rachel, what?" "Thanks for the ride, idiot." She threw open the car door. "Now the real father can be there." The words hit Cole like physical blows. Rachel was already running toward the entrance, toward Ryan, her pregnancy waddle completely gone. They embraced at the hospital doors, Ryan's hands protectively covering her belly, their baby. Cole sat frozen in the driver's seat. watching the scene unfold like a nightmare. Marina appeared from somewhere, her smirk visible even at this distance. She'd never left for Los Angeles. Another piece of their elaborate deception. His phone buzzed. A message from Rachel. Ryan and I never stopped loving each other. You were just a safe option while we got our lives together. Thanks for the stability, though. Another message followed, this one from Ryan. She was always mine. We needed someone with resources, respect in the community. You were perfect. So desperate for family you never saw what was right in front of you. Cole's hand tightened on the steering wheel until his knuckles went white. The past 2 years played through his mind. Every strange moment, hidden phone call, unexplained absence now painfully clear. Marina sauntered over to his car window. You should have seen them together at the gallery after hours. The passion, the planning. We arranged everything, the late-night meetings, the secret photo shoots. They needed time to get their finances in order, build their reputations. You provided such a perfect cover. Jack knew. Cole's voice was barely recognizable. Of course he knew. Why do you think he couldn't look you in the eye? He wanted to tell you so many times, but she shrugged. Business is business. Ryan's fights bring in good money. Cole's phone kept buzzing. Messages from mutual friends who'd been in on the deception, each one revealing another layer of betrayal. The fighting community had known. The art world had known. He'd been the only one blind to it. Rachel's final message was a photo, her and Ryan kissing in her studio, dated the day before their wedding. The caption read, "Always his. Thanks for paying for the perfect wedding, though." The photos were amazing. The hospital doors closed behind them, leaving Cole alone in the parking lot with the shattered pieces of his life. The baby bag sat in the back seat. He'd packed it with such care, such hope. Inside were tiny clothes he'd bought, a stuffed animal he'd chosen, all for a child that was never his. More messages arrived through the night. Rachel demanding he maintain her lifestyle until she and Ryan were settled. Ryan threatening to end him if he caused problems with Rachel's pregnancy. Marina detailing how they'd used Cole's connections and resources to build their secret life. Their perfect plan, using him as a respectable cover while they prepared for their real life together, had worked flawlessly until now. But in their moment of triumph, they couldn't resist twisting the knife, showing him exactly how thoroughly he'd been deceived. The security cameras would show Cole sitting in that parking lot until dawn, utterly still, as his world collapsed around him. When he finally drove away, he left behind more than just the baby bag. He left behind his trust, his hope, and the man he'd been. The man who believed in love and family and brotherhood. They'd wanted him to break. Instead, he went silent. The kind of silence that comes before a storm, before vengeance, before justice. But that would be another story, for another time. For now, in that endless night, Cole Morrison sat alone with his pain, planning, remembering, surviving, just as he'd always done. Chapter 4, First Blood. The mountain cabin stood isolated among pine trees, its weathered walls holding decades of secrets. Cole sat motionless on the porch steps, his phone lying dead beside him. He hadn't charged it since that night at the hospital 2 weeks ago. A vehicle approached on the gravel road, the first visitor since Cole had arrived. The black SUV parked next to his motorcycle, and a tall man stepped out, his bearing military despite civilian clothes. "Thought I might find you here," Michael Stone said, climbing the steps. "Your security company called me when you went off-grid." Cole didn't respond. Michael disappeared inside the cabin, returning with 2 cups of coffee. "Drink," he ordered. "Then we talk." They sat in silence until Cole's cup was empty. Michael had trained him years ago, when Cole was a broken teenager looking for direction. The man had become more than a mentor. He'd shown Cole how to transform pain into power. "Tell me," Michael said simply. Cole's voice was raw from disuse. "My wife, my best friend, they used me, built their life with my money, my connections, made me a joke." Michael nodded. "And now? I want to destroy them." "No." Michael's voice cut like steel. "That's not what you want. Destruction is easy. Amateur. You want justice. That takes strategy." A new voice joined them. "And strategy is where I come in." A woman emerged from the SUV, lean, sharp-featured, with calculating eyes. Michael made the introduction. Cole Morrison, meet Vanessa Knight, former psychological operations specialist. She owes me a favor. Several favors, Vanessa corrected. Studying Cole. Michael saved my life in Belgrade. Now, tell me about your wife and friend. Their weaknesses, their dreams, their fears. Over the next days, they planned. Cole detailed everything. Rachel's terror of returning to small-town obscurity, her desperate need for artistic recognition, Ryan's pride in his undefeated record, his ambition to open his own gym. Their strength is their bond, Vanessa noted. But it's also their weakness. They betrayed you together. They'll fall together. Michael brought out maps, documents, files. Your security company gives you resources. Your fighting background gives you influence. We use both. The plan took shape. Not revenge, justice. Not destruction, dismantling. Your first move needs to be unexpected, Vanessa advised. Something that shows strength while making them vulnerable. Cole thought of their house, the home he'd built for Rachel, filled with her art and secrets. I know what to do. The women's shelter director couldn't believe the offer. The entire house? As a donation? With one condition, Cole specified. The darkroom studio remains sealed for now. The media love the story. Local business owner donates luxury home to charity following separation. Rachel's panicked calls began within hours. My darkroom. My private work. You can't do this. Cole let them ring unanswered. He could picture her desperation. The love letters hidden in equipment cases, the secret photos with Ryan tucked behind developing trays. Her most precious memories locked away, just out of reach. At Phoenix Security, Cole implemented the next phase. He gathered his top trainers, fighters he'd personally mentored. I need you to study these videos, he told them, playing footage of Ryan's fights. Learn his patterns, his tells, his weaknesses. Each of you will train someone specifically to beat him. Why not fight him yourself? Jake, his senior instructor, asked. Because this isn't about me. It's about justice. Vanessa's expertise proved invaluable. She understood the psychology of pressure points, how to exploit insecurities. Rachel fears irrelevance more than anything, she observed, reviewing the photographer's social media. She built her reputation on capturing raw emotion, authentic moments. What happens when people question that authenticity? Cole remembered Rachel's obsession with her artistic credibility. She'd unravel. Exactly. And Ryan's fighting career, built on his undefeated record. Take that away, and you take away his future. The plan accelerated. Cole's fighters began appearing at underground matches, challenging Ryan's dominance. Each one trained specifically to exploit the flaws Cole had observed during their years of friendship. Meanwhile, whispers spread through the art community. Questions about Rachel's work, her integrity, her authenticity. Carefully planted doubts that grew like poison vines. Michael watched Cole's transformation with approval. You're thinking clearly now. Strategic. I learned from the best. Vanessa joined them, laptop open. Rachel's latest show just got canceled. Apparently, the gallery owner heard rumors about her complicated personal situation and decided to avoid controversy. How did she take it? According to my sources, she threw a tantrum. Accused Ryan of not supporting her career enough. Their perfect plan is showing cracks. Cole nodded. The pieces were moving. Justice was patient, but it was coming. Chapter 5. Deeper Wounds. The art gallery opening buzzed with whispered conversations. Rachel's name rippled through the crowd, accompanied by sidelong glances and knowing smirks. Did you hear? Her whole series on loyalty. While she was betraying her husband, can we trust any of her work? Marina Walsh observed the gossip spreading with growing unease. Her own reputation was tangled with Rachel's now. The special meetings she'd arranged, the lies she'd told. It was all coming back to haunt her. She found Rachel in the bathroom, reapplying mascara with shaking hands. They're talking about me, Rachel said. About my work. How did they find out? Marina couldn't meet her eyes in the mirror. News travels. The art world loves scandal. Fix it. You're supposed to be handling my career. It's not that simple anymore. Collectors are nervous. They're questioning everything. Your authenticity, your vision. Rachel gripped the sink. I need this show to work. Ryan's fights aren't bringing in enough money since. She didn't finish. Ryan's recent losses had shocked the fighting community. 3 matches, 3 defeats, each opponent seemingly designed to exploit his weaknesses. Across town, Ryan faced another challenger. The young fighter moved like a mirror image of him, anticipating each combination, finding holes in his defense that no one should have known existed. In his corner, Jack Walsh watched with growing concern. Something's wrong, kid. These new guys. It's like they know your playbook. Ryan spat blood into a bucket. Cole. Has to be. He's behind this. Maybe. But he's not throwing the punches. You're getting sloppy. Distracted. The truth hung unspoken between them. Ryan's focus was split between fighting, Rachel's increasingly desperate needs, and the weight of their choices. The referee called time. Ryan rose, trying to shake off his doubts. His opponent smiled, young, hungry, trained to break him. The ending came faster than anyone expected. A combination Ryan had used countless times turned against him. His own momentum used to put him down. The crowd's reaction told the story. Another loss, another crack in his reputation. Later that night, Jack sat alone in his office, a glass of whiskey in his hand. The guilt he'd carried since the hospital night had become unbearable. Cole found him there, letting himself in without knocking. How long did you know? Cole asked quietly. Jack couldn't look at him. From the start. They approached me before your wedding. Needed someone to arrange their meetings. Warn them if you got suspicious. And you agreed? Ryan was my best fighter. Rachel. She has a way of making you believe in her dreams. Jack pulled out his phone, unlocking it with trembling fingers. Here. Everything. Their messages, their plans. They chose you because you were stable, successful. The perfect cover while they built their escape fund. Cole took the phone, his face expressionless. Why tell me now? Because this isn't what I signed up for. They're not who I thought they were. Rachel's been manipulating Ryan as much as anyone else, and he's too blind to see it. The evidence was damning. Messages spanning years, plotting each step of their deception. Rachel's calculated moves, using both men for her own purposes. Ryan's growing obsession, mistaking manipulation for love. Cole pocketed the phone. Thank you, Jack. What are you going to do? Let justice take its course. The pregnancy complications caught everyone by surprise. Rachel's doctor ordered bed rest, but the stress was mounting. Ryan's fighting career was imploding, her art sales had dried up, and their careful plans were unraveling. We need money, Rachel demanded during another hospital visit. The medical bills? I'm trying, Ryan snapped. But these new fighters, they're different. It's like they know me better than I know myself. Try harder. This was supposed to be our perfect life. The cracks in their relationship widened. Ryan started missing appointments, making excuses about training. Rachel's phone showed notifications from other men, younger fighters seeking her artistic attention. Cole watched it all through the network he'd built. Vanessa's intelligence, Michael's strategies, his own fighters systematically dismantling the life Rachel and Ryan had stolen from him. Their foundation is crumbling, Vanessa reported during a strategy session. Rachel's insecurities are surfacing. She's reaching out to other potential supporters, not trusting Ryan anymore. And Ryan? Spending time with that new female fighter at Southside Gym. The one you said would appeal to his type. Cole nodded. The pieces were falling exactly where they should. Their bond was built on betrayal. Now they're learning the price of that choice. Chapter 6. Breaking Points. The hospital corridor buzzed with urgent activity. Rachel's pregnancy complications had reached a critical point, requiring specialized care they couldn't afford. What do you mean our insurance is denied? Ryan demanded at the billing desk. The clerk checked her screen again. Sir, according to our records, the policy lapsed due to non-payment 3 weeks ago. Rachel's sobs echoed from the hospital room. Their perfect plan was crumbling under the weight of reality. Ryan's fighting purses had dwindled to nothing, his reputation in tatters after 6 straight losses. Rachel's art career had stalled completely, galleries wouldn't return her calls. A nurse approached with paperwork. Someone has arranged to cover all medical expenses through a private foundation. The paperwork just came through. What foundation? Rachel asked. The donor wishes to remain anonymous. The charity burned worse than any revenge. Their pride, already wounded, now had to survive on unknown mercy. Later that night, Ryan faced his biggest fight yet. The arena was packed. People came to see if the former undefeated champion could save his career. His opponent was different from the others. Young, disciplined, with a fighting style that seemed designed specifically to counter Ryan's every move. Unknown to Ryan, this was Cole's masterpiece, his most dedicated student, trained for months for this moment. The fight was brutal. Ryan's desperation made him sloppy. Each mistake was punished, each pattern exploited. By the third round, blood streaked his face as his dreams of redemption slipped away. In his corner, Jack saw the end coming. Throw in the towel, kid. Live to fight another day. I can't. Rachel needs this win. We need the money. But his body betrayed him. A perfectly timed combination, one Ryan himself had taught Cole years ago, put him down for the count. The loss was more than just another defeat. Promoters stopped calling. Sponsors pulled out. His dream of opening his own gym evaporated as investors backed away, whispering about damaged goods and compromised integrity. Rachel watched it all from her hospital bed, her art career in similar ruins. Her phone buzzed with a message, screenshots of conversations between Ryan and a young gallery intern, full of flirtation and promises. How could you? She confronted him during his next visit. After everything we've sacrificed? Sacrificed? Ryan laughed bitterly. You mean what we stole? What we destroyed? Cole was my brother, Rachel, my best friend, and we used him like he was nothing. Don't act innocent. You wanted this as much as I did. Did I? Or did you play me just like you played him? The truth hung between them. Their perfect love story built on lies was finally facing reality's harsh light. Cole received regular updates on their disintegration. Vanessa's network kept him informed of each new crack in their facade. Rachel found Ryan's messages to the intern, she reported. Meanwhile, someone anonymously submitted her private pregnancy photos to that gallery show about infidelity. Marina? She's seeking redemption. Guilt's a powerful motivator. The photos caused a sensation in the art world. Rachel's secret documentation of her own betrayal, displayed for all to see. Her artistic reputation, already damaged, shattered completely. Jack's phone had provided the final pieces of evidence. Messages spanning years showed how Rachel and Ryan had planned everything, choosing Cole for his stability and success, using his resources while building their escape plan. The truth is its own weapon, Michael observed as they reviewed their progress. You didn't have to destroy them. They destroyed themselves. Cole nodded. Justice had worked exactly as planned. Rachel and Ryan's perfect dream had crumbled under the weight of reality, consequences, and their own choices. Their threats from that hospital night seemed distant now. Rachel couldn't demand he maintain her lifestyle when her own actions had destroyed it. Ryan's warning to end Cole if he caused problems had proven empty. He'd ended himself through his own choices. The foundation paying for the baby's medical care remained anonymous. Let them live with that mystery, that debt to an unknown benefactor. It was a reminder that mercy could cut deeper than revenge. Chapter 7. House of Cards. Rachel Wilson adjusted her dress in the gallery mirror, practicing her speech for the upcoming show. Childhood Bonds was supposed to be her triumphant return to the art world, a series exploring lifelong connections and unwavering loyalty. 5 minutes until doors open, Marina called out, her voice tight with tension. The gallery walls displayed Rachel's carefully curated images, photographs spanning decades, from small-town childhood moments to recent artistic studies. Each one featured Ryan prominently, their supposed eternal bond captured in silver and light. Something's wrong, Rachel muttered, checking her phone again. Ryan should have arrived an hour ago for the preview. Marina watched her former friend with a mixture of guilt and satisfaction. Across the street, in a rival gallery she'd secretly helped arrange, a very different exhibition was about to launch. The first guests began arriving, critics, collectors, the usual art crowd. Rachel played her part perfectly, discussing technique and emotional resonance, never noticing Marina slipping away. Ladies and gentlemen, Rachel addressed the gathering. Tonight's exhibition explores the unbreakable bonds that shape our lives. Her voice trailed off as she noticed people drifting toward the windows, pointing at the gallery across the street. Its lights had just blazed on, revealing wall-sized photographs visible even from here. Rachel's blood ran cold. The images were familiar, because she was in them. Secret moments she thought no one had captured. Her and Ryan during their affair, planning their deception, using Cole's trust for their own ends. "What is this?" she demanded. But Marina had vanished. The rival exhibition, titled Truth in Shadows, featured surveillance photos taken over years. Marina's revenge for being made complicit in their betrayal was complete and devastating. Guests began leaving, smartphones raised to capture both galleries' displays. Rachel's carefully constructed narrative crumbled as the real story spread through social media. Ryan finally arrived, but not to support her. He burst in clutching papers from the Fighting Commission. "My license is suspended," he shouted. "Anonymous tips about taking dives. All my potential investors for the gym pulled out." Rachel barely heard him. She was staring at the next set of photos lighting up across the street, images she herself had taken, documenting their betrayal almost compulsively. Marina had found her secret digital archive. "How did they get those?" Ryan demanded. "Those were in your private storage." "Marina," Rachel whispered. "She helped me back up my work last month." The exhibition across the street had a third act. Marina herself appeared, inaugurating a multimedia installation called Beautiful Lies. It featured not just photos, but texts, emails, and recordings documenting years of manipulation. Rachel's phone buzzed with a medical alert. The baby's genetic condition was requiring new specialists, but that wasn't what made her sink to her knees. The latest test results were attached. "Ryan," she choked out. "The baby. The DNA test." He grabbed the phone, face draining of color as he read. Science had revealed one final, devastating truth. He wasn't the father either. The gallery erupted in chaos. Art world influencers live-streamed the unfolding drama. Rachel's photographs of loyalty and lasting bonds now seemed like a sick joke. Cole's students arrived in groups, filling the space in their Phoenix security shirts. They didn't say anything. They didn't have to. Their presence forced Ryan to confront everything he'd lost. "You can't fight anymore," Rachel accused. "You can't support us. What happened to our perfect plan?" "Perfect plan?" Ryan laughed bitterly. "Look around. We destroyed ourselves. Cole didn't have to do anything except let the truth come out." The truth was still unfolding. Marina's installation revealed more with each passing minute. The calculated way they'd chosen Cole, the exploitation of his trust, the cruel efficiency with which they'd used his resources while building their escape fund. Rachel tried damage control, claiming artistic license and metaphorical truth. The art world wasn't buying it. Years of carefully cultivated relationships dissolved as critics and collectors distanced themselves from her toxic narrative. "My career is over," she whispered. "Our whole life is over," Ryan corrected. "And we did this to ourselves." Outside, Cole's Fighting Academy had become the dominant force in local martial arts. His students competed with honor and integrity, everything Ryan had sacrificed for a lie. The night ended with Rachel alone in her failed exhibition, surrounded by images of loyalty that now accused rather than celebrated. Across the street, the truth played on in an endless loop, her own documentation of betrayal turned against her. The art world had its scandal of the year. The fighting community had its cautionary tale. And somewhere in the city, Cole Morrison continued building something genuine from the ashes of their deception. Chapter 8, Venom's Touch. The evidence spread through the art world like poison. Rachel's former subjects came forward, sharing stories of how she'd manipulated situations to capture her authentic moments. She engineered arguments between couples for her Love and Crisis series. One subject revealed to a prominent art blog. Created real conflicts just to photograph the aftermath. Another exhibition turned against her. She told my wife I was cheating to get pictures of genuine pain for her infidelity project. We divorced before learning the truth. Rachel's phone filled with cancellations. Galleries pulled her work. Collectors demanded refunds. Universities rescinded speaking invitations. Her reputation for capturing truth became a reputation for manufacturing lies. In his apartment, Ryan found Rachel's journal hidden inside an old photo album. The pages revealed a calculated mind at work. Cole is perfect, successful, trusting, isolated enough to need family. His resources can fund our real future while Ryan's fighting career grows. Ryan's childhood devotion makes him easy to direct. 2 men, 2 purposes, 1 goal. The journal entries turned darker as the pregnancy progressed. Ryan's becoming unstable, too possessive. Might need a backup plan. Cole's money is secure now, but Ryan's fighting career could provide long-term stability. Need to keep both options open. The final entries destroyed any illusions Ryan still held. Meaningless sex with Jack was a mistake, but might prove useful. Ryan's ego makes him believe the baby is his. Cole's too trusting to question it. 3 men serving my needs, none seeing the whole picture. Ryan hurled the journal across the room. Their childhood bond, their supposed eternal love, all manipulations by a master deceiver. The baby's paternity revelation shattered their remaining social circle. Jack Walsh, the actual father, faced his own reckoning as the truth emerged. I was drunk, he told Marina. Rachel said she needed comfort, that Ryan was neglecting her. Never told me she was already sleeping with both of them. Marina's revenge expanded beyond exposing Rachel's lies. She systematically contacted everyone Rachel had ever photographed, encouraging them to share their stories. A pattern emerged. Rachel hadn't just documented betrayal, she'd orchestrated it. Her camera captured genuine pain because she engineered genuine destruction. Cole's combat school flourished during the fallout. His training philosophy emphasized honor, integrity, and genuine achievement. Each class stood as an accusation against everything Ryan had sacrificed. Ryan watched through the gym's windows as former friends and training partners worked out. They'd chosen sides, chosen truth, chosen to stand with the man he'd betrayed. Rachel's desperate attempt to reclaim her past failed spectacularly. She returned to their small town, hoping to reconnect with old supporters. Instead, she found her childhood home had become a monument to consequences. Former neighbors shared stories of her manipulations stretching back to youth. She told each of us different versions of her parents' divorce, her old high school friend revealed. Played us against each other for attention. Should have seen this coming. The town's Facebook group filled with revelations. Teenage Rachel orchestrating conflicts, documenting drama she created, using others' pain for her art. Remember when she told your boyfriend you were cheating? One former friend wrote to another. Got great photos of the breakup though. Rachel fled back to the city, but found no refuge there. Her artistic reputation was toxic, her presence unwelcome in galleries that had once celebrated her work. Chapter 9. Final Pieces. The invitation arrived on expensive paper. Rachel Wilson Presents. Redemption. A journey through truth and reconciliation. Cole held the card, reading the desperate bid for resurrection. The gallery was smaller than Rachel's usual venues, the timing late afternoon instead of prime evening hours. Are you going? Vanessa asked, watching his expression. Yes, he said simply. Time to end this. The exhibition space was half empty. Rachel had lost weight, her clothes replaced by simpler attire. She flinched when Cole entered but forced herself to approach. Thank you for coming, she said. I wasn't sure. I'm not here for you. The photographs on display showed a different Rachel, humbled, searching for meaning in her downfall. But even these images felt calculated, designed to evoke sympathy. Ryan arrived separately, looking older than his years. His fighting career was over, his dream of opening a gym shattered by revelations of integrity compromised. Cole, he started. Brother, we're not brothers. I know. I betrayed that. Betrayed everything. Ryan's voice cracked. She played us both, but I let her. Chose to believe the lies because they felt better than truth. The apology came too late for forgiveness, but it offered something Cole hadn't expected, closure. Ryan's destruction was complete, but it had come from his own choices. Across the gallery, Rachel made one final attempt to rewrite history. A documentary crew filmed her tearful confession. I lost myself in the art of deception. Used real people, real emotions, real pain to create something false. The price was my soul. The footage would play in galleries across the city, not as redemption, but as a warning about the cost of betrayal. Through it all, Cole had maintained anonymous support for the baby, financial assistance, medical care, educational trusts. The child deserved a chance to break the cycle of lies. The baby's doing well, Vanessa mentioned later that night. Jack's being a better father than anyone expected. Good. She deserves that much. Their relationship had grown naturally, built on shared understanding and absolute honesty. Vanessa's intelligence work had taught her the value of truth, while Cole's experience had shown him the importance of earning trust. Together, they expanded Phoenix Security's mission. Beyond combat training, they taught ethics and integrity. Their students learned that true strength came from character, not deception. The story became legend in both fighting and art circles. Not just the betrayal, but the way justice had come through truth rather than violence. You could have destroyed them physically, Michael Stone remarked during a training session. Chose a harder path instead. Destruction is easy, Cole quoted his mentor's earlier wisdom. Justice takes strategy. The foundation came last, support for young fighters and artists who demonstrated integrity. Each grant recipient learned the story, understood the price of betrayal and the value of honor. Rachel made one final attempt to contact Cole. Her letter arrived on the Foundation's official stationery. You won, not by hurting us, but by being better than us. The baby will grow up knowing her father chose to help her despite everything. That's a legacy I can never match. Cole didn't respond. His legacy would speak through actions. The lives he touched, the students he taught, the principles he upheld. The betrayal that could have destroyed him had instead revealed his true strength. He had faced darkness but chosen light, transformed pain into purpose, and built something genuine from the ashes of deception. In the end, that was the greatest justice of all. Epilogue. 10 years later, Phoenix Security had expanded beyond recognition. The original training facility now anchored a complex of buildings dedicated to what the media called the Morrison Method, a comprehensive approach to personal development combining physical training, ethical leadership, and psychological resilience. Cole Morrison stood in his office, watching students flow between classes. The fighting arena where he'd once trained Ryan had become just one component of a larger mission. The walls displayed photographs, not Rachel's artistically manipulated images, but genuine moments captured by students documenting their journeys. The Singapore branch just confirmed their opening date, Vanessa said, entering with a tablet. After their marriage 7 years ago, she'd integrated her intelligence expertise into the curriculum, teaching students to recognize manipulation and value authentic relationships. How's their instructor certification going? On schedule. Michael's personally overseeing the final stages. Michael Stone, now in his 60s but still imposing, had transformed from mentor to partner. His military experience combined with Cole's fighting background created a training program that attracted clients from around the world. The Morrison Foundation had also flourished, supporting young artists and fighters who demonstrated exceptional integrity. Each year, they received thousands of applications, each candidate carefully screened for the qualities Cole had learned to value most: honesty, ethical behavior, and genuine dedication to their craft. Did you see this? Vanessa held up her phone, showing a local news article. Ryan Cooper's name caught Cole's eye. After his fighting career imploded, Ryan had hit bottom. Alcohol, failed business ventures, increasingly desperate attempts to reclaim his former glory. The article detailed his latest effort, teaching basic self-defense at a small gym in their old hometown. He's staying clean, Vanessa noted, working with at-risk youth. No grand ambitions, just quiet redemption. Cole nodded. He'd kept tabs on his former friend through the years, not from vindictiveness, but to ensure the lessons stuck. Ryan had finally accepted his role in his own downfall, finding purpose in helping others avoid similar mistakes. Rachel's story had taken different turns. Her attempt to rebuild her artistic career had failed spectacularly, her reputation permanently tainted by revelations about her manipulative methods. She tried reinventing herself in several cities, but the art world had a long memory. The last Cole heard, she was teaching photography at a community college on the West Coast. Her course syllabi, available online, emphasized technical skills over artistic interpretation, a telling shift from her former focus on manufacturing emotional moments. Marina sent an update about the baby, Vanessa mentioned. Sarah Walsh had grown into a remarkable young woman, excelling in both academics and athletics. Despite the chaos surrounding her birth, or perhaps because of it, she developed a strong moral compass. Jack and his new wife had provided a stable home, while Marina's occasional presence offered perspective on the complexity of human relationships. Cole's anonymous foundation still supported Sarah's education, a commitment he'd maintained without ever meeting her. The money was channeled through multiple layers of legitimate organizations, ensuring she would never face the burden of direct connection to her parents' choices. Marina and Jack had divorced amicably after the truth about Sarah's parentage emerged. Marina returned to the art world, but with a different focus. Her gallery now specialized in documentary photography, emphasizing authenticated journalistic work over artistic interpretation. Jack found unexpected success in training young boxers, his own experiences with deception making him particularly adept at spotting and nurturing genuine talent. He and Marina maintained a cordial relationship centered around Sarah's well-being. The fighting community had evolved. The underground matches where Cole first met Rachel still existed, but Phoenix Security's influence had created a culture that valued integrity over mere victory. Fighters trained in the Morrison method were known for their disciplined approach and ethical conduct. The documentary crew is here, Vanessa reminded him. A major sports network was producing a series on transformative figures in modern martial arts. Cole had initially declined to participate, but the producers convinced him that his story could help others recognize and avoid manipulation in their own lives. The interviewers set up in Cole's office, beginning with the standard questions about Phoenix Security's success. Cole gave measured responses about training methodology and business growth, but the conversation inevitably turned personal. Your experience with betrayal shaped this organization's emphasis on integrity, the interviewer noted. Do you regret not seeing the signs earlier? Cole considered his answer carefully. Betrayal teaches you to read people, but it can also make you cynical. The challenge is learning to trust wisely rather than not trusting at all. You've never publicly discussed Rachel Wilson or Ryan Cooper. Why break that silence now? Because enough time has passed for this to be about lessons rather than individuals. Their choices destroyed the life they wanted, but they also showed me the life I needed to build. The interview covered the Foundation's work, including its support for ethical artists, a detail that would certainly reach Rachel in her new life. Cole didn't mention that he received regular updates about her situation, including her recent efforts to document her own journey of redemption. After the crew left, Cole found himself reflecting on the decades since that night in the hospital parking lot. The betrayal that could have broken him had instead focused his purpose, showing him how to transform pain into positive change. Vanessa touched his arm gently. Sarah's college application arrived. The envelope bore the Phoenix Foundation's address. Sarah Walsh, unknowingly seeking support from the man her parents had betrayed, had written an essay about integrity and consequences. She's nothing like them, Vanessa said, reading the application. Top grades, volunteer work, glowing recommendations. The genetic testing center she interns at says she has a gift for uncovering truth in data. Cole smiled at the irony. The child born of deception had grown into someone dedicated to revealing truth through science. He signed the approval for a full scholarship, maintaining the anonymity that had protected her from her parents' legacy. That evening, Cole taught an advanced class combining combat techniques with ethical decision-making. The students included professional fighters, law enforcement officers, and corporate executives, all seeking something beyond physical skills. Strength without character is dangerous, he told them, echoing Michael's lessons from years ago. Trust without wisdom is vulnerable. The key is building both. Later, reviewing security footage from Phoenix facilities worldwide, Cole saw his principles taking root across cultures. Each training center emphasized the same core values, creating a network of individuals committed to integrity. The Morrison Foundation's annual gala brought together recipients from various fields. Young fighters who competed with honor. Artists who documented truth rather than manufacturing drama. Each success story validated Cole's belief that integrity could be taught and cultivated. Michael Stone attended these events as a proud father figure, watching his protege build something unprecedented in both the fighting and business worlds. His military contacts had expanded Phoenix Security's influence into specialized training for elite units, emphasizing ethical decision-making under pressure. The gala's keynote speaker was a former Foundation recipient who'd become a respected sports psychologist. Her research on integrity in athletics cited the Morrison case study, without naming names, as a turning point in how the fighting community viewed character development. A week later, Cole received an unexpected letter. Ryan had written from the small gym where he now taught, not asking forgiveness, but sharing his own journey toward redemption. Working with these kids, I see myself at that age, talented but unfocused, looking for shortcuts. Teaching them about consequences isn't easy, but it matters. You showed me that. Cole filed the letter with others he'd received over the years, from Rachel, from Marina, from various participants in their shared drama. Each documented a different path toward understanding the true cost of betrayal. Sarah Walsh's story particularly interested the documentary makers, though they respected Cole's insistence on protecting her privacy. Her academic papers on genetic testing ethics suggested she'd inherited her mother's intelligence, but channeled it toward uncovering truth rather than crafting deceptions. The fighting world had its own legends about Cole Morrison, the undefeated trainer whose students competed with unprecedented integrity. Some claimed he could spot a dishonest fighter just by watching their practice sessions. Others whispered about the notorious betrayal that had shaped his philosophy. Rachel's community college students sometimes found her old photographs online, not realizing their technical skills instructor had once been a rising star in the art world. She never discussed her past work, focusing instead on teaching fundamentals and professional ethics. The art world had developed new authentication protocols partly inspired by the Rachel Wilson scandal. Galleries now required extensive documentation of artistic process, protecting both artists and subjects from manipulation. Marina's Beautiful Lies installation had toured internationally, becoming a case study in art ethics courses. She occasionally gave lectures about her role in the events, emphasizing personal responsibility and redemption. Cole and Vanessa's marriage proved that trust could be rebuilt after betrayal. Their relationship, founded on complete honesty and shared values, stood as a counterpoint to the deceptions that had shaped their paths. The Morrison Method's success attracted attention from psychiatrists and researchers studying resilience and ethical development. Academic papers analyzed how the program transformed trauma into strength, betrayal into wisdom. 10 years had transformed a personal tragedy into a movement. Phoenix Security's graduates worked in law enforcement, military special operations, corporate security, and professional athletics. Each carried forward Cole's emphasis on integrity as the foundation of true strength. The foundation's work extended beyond individual grants, funding research into character development and ethical decision-making. Universities partnered with Phoenix Security to study how physical training could reinforce moral choices. Sarah Walsh's generation knew nothing of the scandal surrounding her birth. To them, the Morrison Foundation represented excellence and integrity. Some of her classmates trained at Phoenix Security facilities, never suspecting their connection to her history. Cole's office contained one photograph from his previous life, the last image Rachel had captured of him training Ryan. He kept it as a reminder that trust given unwisely could be devastating, but trust withheld entirely prevented growth. The documentary aired internationally, prompting discussions about integrity in sports and business. Viewers recognized universal themes in Cole's story: betrayal, resilience, and the choice to build rather than destroy. The epilogue to Cole Morrison's story wasn't about revenge or destruction. It was about transformation, of pain into purpose, betrayal into wisdom, and personal tragedy into global impact. The legacy lived in Sarah Walsh's dedication to scientific truth, in Ryan Cooper's quiet work with troubled youth, in Rachel Wilson's focus on technical reality over artistic manipulation. It lived in each Phoenix Security graduate who chose integrity over expedience, in each foundation recipient who transformed their field through ethical leadership. 10 years had proven that the greatest victory came not from destroying those who betrayed you, but from building something they could never taint. Cole Morrison's response to betrayal had created ripples that continued to spread, touching lives far beyond the original drama. In the end, that was the real story, not the betrayal that began it, but the truth that emerged. Strength built on integrity would always outlast deception. This is where our story comes to an end. Share your thoughts in the comments section. Thanks for your time. If you enjoy this story, please subscribe to this channel. Click on the video you see on the screen, and I will see you there.